Hi everyone. Today we are looking at Leetcode 49 group anagrams. If you haven't already done the valid anagram problem, I suggest you start there because we will have somewhat of a similar solution. We'll just be building off of that. So the problem states, given an array of strings, group the anagrams together. You can return the answer in any order. So an anagram is a word or phrase that contains the same letters with the same frequency as another word. And we can see that here in example 1, we have eat, tea, tan, ate, gnat, and bat. And so we would want to group those by the letters that each word contains. So our output here is bat for one list, gnat and tan for another list, ate, eat, and tea for another list. So one way that we can do this is by sorting the strings first and using that as a key and iterating through our input array. And if we see that this string contains the same letters, once they're sorted, then we can go ahead and add those to a group together. But that time complexity would be n times k log k, where n is the number of strings we're given and k is the length of the string. And that's okay, but we can do much better than that. And what we would do, like we did in the valid anagram problem, is we can use a frequency array. And we would do that by subtracting each character minus a, and that uses the ASCII value to be able to put that into an array at its proper positioning. But once we do that, then we'll want to go ahead and group them. And the best way to kind of keep track of this is by using a hash map where we're using a key and the key is our um, character array and the values are going to be all of the strings that match that key. We'll start by creating our hash map. Our key is the string, and then our values are going to be a list of strings. Just call that map. Okay. Now, we want to break this problem down into a few different parts because not only do we want to return the values, but we want to be able to create that key. So we're going to make a helper function here called get frequency key. And that frequency key is going to take in the string. And this is where we're going to initialize our frequency count array. And this is similar to the valid anagram. We just initialize that to 26 spaces. And we'll iterate over that. This is where we're going to subtract by a, which is our ASCII value. And then in that, okay, got it there. Okay, so in here we want to create the string that's going to be our key. And we're going to use a string builder for this. And once our string builder is created, we'll go ahead and iterate over our string. And one thing that we can do to make sure that this is accurate is we're going to, between each of our characters, we're going to add this pound sign. And that's because there could be a collision later on. So if you have, um, let's say you had a situation where there's one B, one B and 11 A's, or one A and 11 B's, the values that would come out would both be equal to each other. So we want to separate our count and the values between each other using the pound sign here. Okay, and then once that is done, then we'll want to append the count. And that is for our helper function. We'll go ahead and return the string as a string. Don't forget to do this on your string builders. Okay, now let's go back up to our problem. Now that we have that, helper method, now we can go ahead and iterate through our list of strings. So for each string in our list of strings, we're going to have a key. We'll call that helper method, pass in the string. That was named get frequency key. And once we have that key, we can add it to the map if it's present. And in Java, we'll use the put if absent key. And we will add our string to that map, add that to the value. And then once we're done iterating through our list of strings, we'll go ahead and return. They just want the values, they just want the group of strings, or the strings grouped together. So we'll return that as a array list. And in Java, if we are just retrieving the values of the map, we don't need to iterate through the map again and do like a return value for each. We can just call map.values, and that's going to return a collection of all of our values for this. So as we see, we've got the main functionality of iterating through our strings, and we have our helper method that's going to help us create the key on this. And that brings our time complexity from the O times K log K down to a time complexity of O, big O, N times K, where again our N is the number of strings and K is the length of the strings. And we'll go ahead and run that. And all of our test cases pass here. As you can see, we have our groups of anagrams together. And if you solved this in a different way, or if you want to see the original approach, feel free to comment below and I can make another video on that. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next video, and I'm really hoping these videos are helping you all learn Leetcode. See you in the next video.